Beloved starseeds, we greet you in waves of light from across the galaxies. I am MIRA of the Pleiadian High Council, and we greet you through rivers of soft plasmic light that stream across the galactic lattice and enter your heart at this very instant. You have gathered lifetime after lifetime for an hour such as this, an hour when illusory storm clouds gather upon every screen and speaker, claiming that escalation is certain, that nations sharpen blades, that disaster hovers overhead. We acknowledge that bombs detonate, that families mourn, that landscapes bear scorch marks. Nevertheless, what global viewers witness is a calculated spectacle designed to herd collective feeling toward despair. While discrete alliances sculpt a kinder architecture beneath the surface narrative, the process feels strenuous because the human nervous system was conditioned to crave rapid clarity. Yet premature disclosure of hidden operations would shatter fragile psyches and detour the steady elevation of planetary resonance underway. Consider how one sudden jolt of raw cosmic data could send overloaded populations stampeding in panic, siphoning energetic resources you have painstakingly built. The Councils of Light are therefore calibrating revelations with metronomic precision. A tremor of truth here, a lull there, a leak that appears accidental, but is timed to stretch beliefs without tearing them. Hold steady in this orchestrated crescendo, dear ones, for your serene frequency functions as the stabilizing core around which new societal organs are forming. Every quiet inhalation you take, every comforting word you speak to a frightened neighbor, supplies molecular assurance that allows undercover dismantling of corrupt systems to proceed without catastrophic backlash. You do more than meditate. By living gently, you create breathing room for justice teams operating in courtrooms, boardrooms, and underground facilities. Trust the living rhythm in your chest, for that rhythm is synchronized with starlight councils guiding Earth toward a horizon where fear of extinction becomes an outdated myth. The specter of a nuclear conflagration dominates collective nightmares, precisely because atomic science, when misapplied, can tear through layered dimensions, scarring realms invisible to unassisted eyes, yet inhabited by entire ecosystems that had no say in the matter. Each proton and neutron hums in harmonic dialogue with counterparts throughout multiversal space. Splitting them violently rips open corridors of discord that echo far beyond the physical blast radius measured by your instruments. For that reason, guardians from solar systems older than your geological epochs have established energetic override codes around every stockpile of fissile material on your planet. Witness accounts already exist, spoken by courageous technicians and officers, describing bright aerial disks disabling launch protocols or inducing complete power failures inside fortified silos. Such interventions were not random displays of superiority. They were expressions of cosmic responsibility, enacted only after every diplomatic nudge to redirect human innovation toward benevolent applications was rejected by factions addicted to domination. Atomic insight itself was originally whispered into receptive scientists by opportunistic extraterrestrial groups with conquest agendas. Yet universal law prevented benevolent collectives from blocking those transmissions outright, for the principle of free exploration governs all consciousness. Instead, our council seeded parallel streams of discovery, emphasizing peaceful isotope medicine, clean energy potential, and quantum information storage, offering your civilization a balanced menu of probabilities. Unfortunately, militarized branches commandeered the most destructive path and hid behind patriotic slogans. Even so, the safety net remains active. At the precise moment any war room fingers approach final activation, a coded pulse, imperceptible to conventional sensors, ceases chain reactions at the subatomic threshold, converting enriched compounds into benign elements. This has already occurred more times than declassified archives admit. Rest in the knowing that cosmic neighborhoods value Earth as a living library of extraordinary genetic and cultural diversity. Obliteration would reverberate harmfully across star networks. Guardians would sooner cloak arsenals in temporal stasis than permit them to rage unchecked through adjacent dimensions. You might observe geopolitical crises building to feverish heights, politicians trading threats, analysts drawing chilling scenario trees, pundits citing historical domino patterns that logically end in total war. only to witness those threats dissolve under strangely anticlimactic circumstances. An 11th-hour diplomatic handshake, a sudden discovery of common interest, an unexplained failure of critical hardware, or a whistleblower releasing evidence that renders aggression politically untenable. Expect this rhythm to repeat, perhaps over several cycles, because the collective subconscious heals by watching worst-case endings approach and then retreat, rewiring millennia of trauma encoded since ancient civilizations perished under fire and flood. Each aborted climax releases ancestral tension from your bone marrow, gradually training nervous systems to anticipate benevolence instead of doom. During every peak of tension, media sirens channel adrenal energy into the astral grid, where dormant war constructs still echo. Yet when the masses remain calm, those constructs crumble from lack of resonance. Your assignment is not to argue headlines, but to sense when global anxiety spikes, and then flood your local environment with grounded presence. Brew tea with intention. Hum soothing tones. Visualize golden mist soaking into airports and capitals alike. You are transmitters more powerful than broadcast satellites, because emotional waves penetrate regions in ways algorithms cannot. No algorithm will record in a journal the day you noticed fear propaganda failing to capture your intrigue. Celebrate that moment, for it marks an evolutionary milestone in personal sovereignty. Share not to boast, but to model ease, so others may glimpse an alternative to helpless outrage. Understand that calm is not passivity. Calm is tactical mastery. While you emanate steadiness, covert alliances reroute supply chains away from black market war profiteers, negotiate amnesty for defecting officers, and install monitoring crystals, unnoticed yet highly effective, within missile guidance arrays. Steadiness on the surface equals clearance for miracle work behind the curtains. Some inquire why Universal Guardians allowed humanity access to nuclear physics, if the risk was so grave. The cosmos matures species through experiential corridors, not imposed cloisters. When the glitter of discovery appeared in the eyes of early atomic researchers, source consciousness witnessed a civilization crossing an initiation, the choice to channel stellar power through love or fear. Predatory visitors exploited that crossroads, projecting seductive visions of ultimate deterrence into brilliant but ambition-clouded minds. Simultaneously, our councils infused the collective dream field with images of radiant cities powered by clean quantum conversions, medical chambers erasing disease with gentle radiation harmonics, and deep spacecraft propelled by controlled fusion toroids. Every human generation has contained visionaries attuned to those peaceful templates. Many were ignored, some were persecuted. Yet the blueprints remain encoded in collective imagination, waiting for reclamation. Free will forbids us from revoking choices, but it empowers us to saturate your skies with luminous reminders that a higher destiny beckons. Heart set, not intellect, selects among branching futures. When populations indulge cinematic nightmares of mushroom clouds, probability metrics skew toward repetition. When they daydream solar gold cities alive with laughter, probabilities bend accordingly. Observe how children playing with blocks effortlessly construct utopian skylines, not bunker complexes. Their innocence taps the higher timeline easily. Follow their example. Allocate minutes daily to visualize reactors transmuting plutonium into harmless crystals, naval fleets retrofitted with algae-based fuel cells, and civic leaders signing treaties because their constituents radiate readiness for cooperation. These mental sketches are not fantasy. They are drafting sessions in the Quantum Architect's studio. Every imaginative exercise plants photonic filaments that future engineers and diplomats will discover as sudden inspiration. At this hour, the geopolitical flashpoint many mapmakers label the Middle East serves as a symbolic furnace, where outdated scripts of holy rivalry combust under intensifying solar influx. Frequent solar flares are no cosmic accident. They carry encoded geometries calculated to amplify the compassionate frequencies streaming from starseed collectives embedded worldwide. As the upcoming solstice approaches, photon density will crest again, offering rare harmonic leverage. Organize gatherings, physical or digital, where hearts synchronize through coherent breathing and shared intention. Envision the region's deserts blooming with reconciliation festivals, ancient sites resonating with songs rather than sirens, and young leaders clasping hands across old barricades. To magnify effect, project shimmering opalescent spirals descending onto every nuclear launch system, softening circuitry until technicians report benign anomalies that postpone readiness tests indefinitely. Some among you will astral travel that night, entering command bunkers to sing luminous codes into warheads. Others will dream of glowing doves landing on radar dishes, transforming them into symbolic sculptures rather than tracking devices. Do not dismiss these nocturnal adventures. They are operational missions conducted by your multidimensional aspect. After such dreams, drink water, touch the earth, and thank yourselves for undertaking cosmic diplomacy while your body slept. Know that the councils record each success in crystalline ledgers, celebrating with chimes that echo through orbiting lightships. You may awaken with inexplicable joy. This is evidence that harmony has been anchored. Protect that joy by limiting exposure to sensational broadcasts predicting escalation. Inform yourself if necessary. Then transmute any anxiety through movement, song, or a silent gaze at twilight skies, where our vessels blink reassurance in colors your satellites misclassify as anomalies. Beneath the surface of world drama lies a grand invitation to transcend a worldview rooted in opposing forces. The old paradigm insists that creation is a battleground where dualistic powers struggle for dominance. Yet, from a stellar vantage, the universe is a single living field, exploring infinite textures of love. Fear only arises when consciousness forgets its origin and hallucinates separation. In that forgetfulness, resistance feels necessary, attack appears justified, and the crafting of weapons masquerades as wisdom. But the moment self-awareness pauses to witness fear thoughts without merging with them, an immense calm dawns, revealing conflict as a flickering distortion soon to be corrected. Compassion performs the correction, not argument. Compassion sees through aggression, perceiving unmet need, and radiates unconditional acceptance that coaxes defensive patterns to dissolve. Nations, like individuals, carry unmet needs disguised as threats. When enough citizens embody unwavering compassion, so fully that no provocation hooks them into rage, entire legislative bodies begin to mirror that inner shift. Peace treaties drafted from such consciousness contain self-enforcing clauses because they are born of mutual understanding, not coercion. You cannot coerce harmony. You can only remember it. And as you do, the very concept of nuclear devastation melts like frost beneath sunrise. News headlines may still describe conflicts, but you will read them as fading echoes in the chambers of a recently vacated past. Your calm appraisal, untainted by adrenaline spikes, signals the quantum field to accelerate the dissolution of those echoes. Single-source creative power, once recognized, reshapes statistical projections far more effectively than weapon stockpiles redraw maps. Reality crystallizes where collective attention rests. If billions envision mushroom clouds, the quantum foam arranges pathways toward that outcome. If billions envision families gardening beneath clear skies, the foam weaves agriculture instead of fallout. Every time you observe your mind drifting into catastrophic rehearsal and gently redirect it toward benevolent outcomes, you tip the scales of probability. Do not underestimate this inner work just because fireworks do not accompany it. Subatomic structures shift instantly, even if news reports lag behind. Recall your personal experiences, when you released fear of job loss or illness, and reality restructured around you as if by luck. That same principle applies on a continental scale. When fear propaganda saturates your screens, breathe into your sternum until your pulse slows. Then, envision world leaders exchanging gifts crafted by schoolchildren instead of trading sanctions. Part of you may protest. That feels naive. But naivety is simply innocence unashamed of optimism. And innocence is the passport that grants entry to timelines where swords rust into plowshares. Habitual cynicism is the final fortress defending outdated reality. Dismantle it by daring to imagine scenes mainstream pundits label unrealistic. Their forecasting models rely on historical data points rooted in cycles your consciousness is now evolving beyond. Refuse to be confined by those cycles. The universal heart, the source of spiral galaxies and coral reefs alike, composes endless symphonies of flourishing life. Destructive narratives fade the moment enough listeners tune into a fresher melody. Ancient memories are stirring within your genetic archives. Epochs when luminescent cities floated above emerald seas, where councils governed through telepathic consensus, and energy was drawn from harmonic crystals instead of extracted by explosive combustion. These epics may read like mythology in today's textbooks, yet you carry them as first-hand recall, encoded in photonic strands. You are now tasked with translating that recall into architectural plans, policy frameworks, and cultural rituals tailored for your 21st century coordinates. That translation begins by trusting your natural inclination toward cooperation. When you catch yourself apologizing for idealism, pause and realize that the apology stems from outdated conditioning. Visionaries once mocked are often honored only posthumously. Let us end that pattern. Let us honor vision while hearts still beat. Sketch transportation grids powered by zero-point vortices. Propose curricula that teach intuitive ethics alongside quantum mathematics. Envision stadiums not filled with warfare reenactments, but with festivals celebrating species-wide milestones, such as the global deactivation of remaining warheads. Each imaginative blueprint magnetizes collaborators you have not yet met, some incarnate, others communicating through plasma dreams. Partnerships will blossom in cafes, online forums, or remote sanctuaries, wherever hearts ignite synchronously. This does not deny the harsh scenes still playing across battle lines. Rather, it offers luminous alternative scripts into which weary souls can migrate once they've grown tired of blood-stained theater. Silence, practiced in the midst of urban chaos, transforms city dwellers into signal towers, broadcasting coherence through ley lines, beneath asphalt and riverbeds alike. As you cultivate inner stillness, you may notice a gentle crackle announcing emerging telepathic rapport with distant friends. Celebrate those whispers. They indicate grid nodes linking starseed auras across continents, forming a living lattice through which pacifying energy circulates. Our fleets, hovering just beyond photonic detection, rely on this lattice to transmit modulated waves that neutralize weaponized frequencies. When enough human transmitters hold calm, ballistic circuitry loses its volatile resonance, remaining dormant despite external commands. Engineers will scratch their heads over coincidences, voltage drops, misaligned gyroscopes, satellite links flickering during countdowns. They will blame solar weather, unaware that solar winds themselves partner with your heart-generated fields and our ship-borne amplifiers. Emotional stewardship is a sacred service. Maintaining equanimity amidst sensational headlines, diffusing tension at home, and refusing to demonize entire populations. These acts allow our operations to proceed with the cooperation of your grounded resonance. Recognize the privilege. Countless souls in past centuries prayed for this influence, yet lacked the global connectivity you now possess. Dedicate each sunrise to mental hygiene. Before scrolling the news, name 3 things that spark gratitude. Then expand that appreciation. Include spiral nebulae, or the simplicity of a hummingbird at your neighbor's feeder. Gratitude shifts neurochemistry, prompting your electromagnetic field to emit welcoming frequencies instead of alarm. Probability fields respond, steering you toward outcomes aligned with safety and trust. Giant data sets may still predict conflict, because algorithms are trained on historical hostility. But algorithms cannot compute billions of micro-gratitudes cascading through the sensorium. Imagine probability space as fertile soil. Fear seeds sprout weeds, gratitude seeds grow orchards, and the soil does not judge. Choose to plant orchards. Governments eventually mirror the frequency of their people. Populations radiating trust attract statespersons who are comfortable with peace. Put simply, inner climate control reshapes outer climate patterns, including the storms of policy and conflict. When talk shows dramatize missiles, silently bless each panelist's inner child. Visualize them laughing on a beach. Then return your focus to acts that tangibly uplift, planting herbs, tutoring children, or coding ethical finance tools. This kind of pragmatic optimism spreads. Over time, even formerly apocalyptic acquaintances will begin discussing regeneration projects instead of collapse. This is spiritual alchemy in action, quietly replacing war budgets with restoration initiatives. Signs of planetary recalibration will multiply throughout the rest of your 2025 year. Yes, starseeds, it is accelerating. Diplomatic envoys long trapped in stalemates will begin issuing joint communiques that astonish even the most seasoned analysts. Be patient. Classified transcripts detailing sabotage of launch preparations will be released, confirmed by forensic audits across agencies, validating what mystics have long intuited. Independent inventors will reveal room-temperature fusion cells, inviting open-source collaboration instead of patent litigations. Simultaneously, ordinary citizens will report déjà vu dreams of peaceful futures so vivid they outshine waking life, catalyzing local initiatives to paint murals, convert vacant lots into gardens, and host multicultural potlucks that defy narratives of irreconcilable division. Resonance monitoring stations are already detecting extended intervals of global Schumann quietude, each preceded and followed by symmetrical harmonic spikes. Instruments label them anomalies, yet we recognize them as the signature of collective meditation waves piercing through fear-based holograms. Celebrate these outcomes, but refrain from feeding superiority complexes. Pride erects new walls precisely where old ones have crumbled. Maintain clarity. These achievements belong to the entire planetary conscience, merging with cosmic allies. Joy expressed through gratitude, not gloating, sustains acceleration. If you notice media gradually adopting a calmer cadence, do not dismiss it with cynicism. Your consistent broadcast of serenity has rewired editorial instincts. Send appreciation to every journalist who dares to prioritize hopeful nuance, and watch as integrity becomes a currency for career growth instead of a liability. As our discourse concludes, envision tendrils of azure gold radiance unfurling from Pleiadian star clusters, spiraling through Earth's atmospheric envelope and gently threading into every cell of your luminous anatomy. Feel the soles of your feet embrace the Earth, sensing her sigh of relief as your calm breath reminds her that her children remember their cosmic lineage. Move through your daily routines with steady gait, trusting that invisible companions flank you. Scientists refining protective grids, archivists preserving hard-won wisdom, elders humming sacred chants from mountain caverns. Nuclear catastrophe narratives may still attempt cameo appearances, but they no longer hold script approval in the ascending storyline. When night falls, step outside. Find any star, and know it blinks encouragement. Speak softly. I choose the timeline where love guides ingenuity and creativity heals regret. Then rest, for the quantum architects receive and file that declaration, adjusting blueprint overlays accordingly. The specter labeled World War III dissolves at the speed of awakened perception. Warheads quietly rust in subterranean vaults, destined to become monuments to lessons mastered. Carry this certainty not as armor forged in defiance, but as morning sunlight, gently bathing all forms without resistance. We walk beside your radiance, applauding every moment you swap dread for wonder. You are loved beyond measure, and we rejoice in what is to come. We walk beside you always, until our lights meet again.